Here's the background information which allowed the windstorm to happen this past Saturday, November 5th, 2022. This comes from the National Weather Service. Windstorms in the Great Lakes are not uncommon during the fall and the spring months, as storm systems feed on temperature gradients across the United States. Indeed, old tales of the gales of November are based on fall systems, much like the one that impacted our area on November 5th. This section will use data from the 7 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time, November 5th, 2022 run of the high-resolution Ensemble forecast model to demonstrate the meteorological setup for the damaging wind event on November 5th, 2022. Number one, we have the upper level pattern. The upper level pattern consisted of a compact trough that was changing orientation from neutrally to negatively tilted. Negatively tilted troughs are favorable for the rapid deepening of surface low pressure systems, and the upper level pattern on November 5th was no exception. Number two, the surface pattern. As the upper level trough passed overhead, a surface low pressure system lifted from near Joplin, Missouri to southwestern Wisconsin, dropping some 12 MB in 12 hours. A pressure drop of 1 MB per hour is sometimes referred to as a bomb cyclogenesis, though often carries a requirement to occur for a period of at least 24 hours. Forecasters at the National Weather Service were keeping track of the rapid pace that the surface low was deepening, as well as the location of a warm front surging northward into northern Illinois and northern Indiana. Areas south of the warm front were locations where damaging winds would become likely after sunrise. Number three, we have the low-level jet. In response to the rapid deepening of the surface low-pressure system, a strong low-level pressure gradient developed across the Great Lakes. In addition, a strong channel of air called a low-level jet developed on the eastern side of the low, with wind speeds measured as high as 70 to 80 kilometers, which would be 80 to 90 miles per hour just a few thousand feet off the ground. Number four, we have the surface wind forecast. During the night, there's often a stable layer close to the ground that prevents winds a few thousand feet above from penetrating downward. However, after sunrise on November 5th, the ground warmed and wind from the low-level jet started reaching the ground. On the map, notice how the footprint of the strong surface wind gust forecast matched areas with the low-level jets shown earlier. Number five is the cold frontal showers. Finally, a band of showers developed along the cold front and raced across northern Illinois and northwestern Indiana. Even though the showers were narrow and relatively shallow, only grew to about 15,000 feet above the ground. Typically, thunderstorms are 35,000 to 55,000 feet tall. They were able to transport strong winds in the low-level jet down to the ground. Indeed, some of the strongest winds measured in excess of 70 miles per hour on November 5th, 2022 were associated with the line of showers. During the morning hours of November 5th, a narrow band of showers developed along an eastward surging cold front. In response to incredibly strong low-level shear ahead of the cold front, several weak circulations developed within the band of showers in spite of little to no instability. One circulation intensified quickly while passing through the northwestern corner of Kendall County and into southwestern Kane County and produced a brief EF0 tornado that tracked into the village of Big Rock. There was no tornado warning either. The typical ingredients for tornadoes include strong low-level wind shear, low cloud bases, low-level instability, and some sort of mechanism to generate upward motion, such as thunderstorm updraft, lifting air along a cold front or outflow boundary. While there was little to no instability present during the morning of November 5th, the low-level shear was incredibly strong. Cloud bases were close to the ground, and there was a strong cold front producing upward motion. As the narrow line of showers moved eastward across northern Illinois, a small kink in the line developed, which allowed for the development of small enhancements to upward motion along the front, which was a localized stronger updraft. Evidently, the upward motion was enough to develop a tornado. The potential for the narrow band of showers to produce brief and weak tornadoes was known by the National Weather Service forecasters and was discussed in the Area Forecast Discussion issued at approximately 2:50 a.m. on November 5th, 2022. Area Forecast Discussions are technical forecast narratives written by National Weather Service forecasters several times a day to outline general expectations for the forecast within a 7-day period. In the forecast discussion, National Weather Service forecaster noted the cold front will sweep across the area between 10 a.m. and noon, ushering in a modest wind shift toward the southwest. Any time one finds themselves within the warm sector of a rapidly deepening low-pressure system, they must watch out for surprise severe weather events any time of day and even with meager instability. High-resolution model guidance continues to advocate for a strongly forced band of showers along the cold front, which may locally augment wind gusts. Given the literal bare-bones meager Cape expected, convective updrafts along the front will likely be of limited width, rip, and strength. The updrafts along the front will likely be of limited width and strength. With this in mind, updrafts may very well get ripped apart as they grow upward, limiting their overall longevity and sucking power. As a result, the threat for a surprise tornado event along the front appears to be low, under 2%. If more instability develops to sustain low-level updrafts than currently expected, the threat for tornadoes would increase. Sometimes we cannot tell whether we have enough instability until, tornadoes start developing. At any rate, the most likely scenario is the front sweeps through as an arcing band of showers with locally higher wind gusts. As the band of showers moved across northern Illinois, forecasters issued severe thunderstorm warnings that included a tornado possible. The tornado possible is often used by National Weather Service meteorologists in situations where the potential for a brief and weak tornado exists, but either confidence in one occurring is too low to issue a tornado warning, or the expected damage produced by the brief and weak tornado would be no more significant than winds already being produced by the shower or thunderstorm. This was the case on November 5th, as National Weather Service forecaster confidence in the occurrence of a tornado was too low to issue a warning, and if a tornado were to occur, the expectation was that the winds would be of similar strength to the wind speeds already being produced by this storm. At 10:52 a.m. Central Daylight Time, approximately 16 minutes before the tornado occurred, a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag was issued for an area that included both Kendall and Kane counties. The severe thunderstorm warning said that winds up to 60 miles per hour with pea-sized hail possible, and potential exposure, 819,635 population, 265 schools, and 10 hospitals. This warning was issued at 10:52 a.m. Central Daylight Time that included the tornado possible tag for Kendall and Kane counties.